the top 10 best football players in West New York. In my estimation, he was number one. He was also a stout member. Dennis mentioned Coach Byron's basketball team. When I say stout, he set a pick and you knew about it. Score a little bit too, he'll probably talk about that too. He competed in spring in track and field, and not only on field events, but he was one of these guys that was I think he wanted to be not specialized in one thing because everybody wanted to be around him. So he threw the disc, he probably threw the shot, and he probably ran a 222 because he was that kind of a kid. We always remember AJ as being a great teammate, but from a coaching aspect, as somebody we love to coach. He, like Dennis, headed west, went to Kansas. I forgot him out for a while, but then I picked up internet space and whatever when it got, prevalent, found his career. Started in Kansas and it ended in Kansas at Emporia Stadium. Maybe talk about that now. He actually has a little bit of pro football in his background. So I bring up to you A.J. Copeland from Abilene, Texas, but I give to you now somebody that's come home to Lancaster, A.J. Copeland. Don't button the jacket. I don't know if you can button that thing anymore.
Thank you. This is such an honor for an obvious reason. I'm black. Lancaster High School. I want to thank everybody, but when he first called me 90 days ago, first I had to pick myself off because I didn't believe it. And there's so many people to thank, from Foyle, that I remember at the Conley Cup, when they were announcing the winner, he was praying that I got it. So all the things, I can't bring and thank all the people that it is, because this is such a great honor. And my life has changed since I got this award, but my life also changed when I came to Lancaster. And let me tell you how I came to Lancaster. Tragedy is always some things that bring the best result. My mom got remarried and we moved into Lancaster Court. And if you know Lancaster Court, back in the same day, if you lived in Lancaster Court, one side of the street went to Lancaster, the other side went to Depew. But in my 8th grade year, I'm still going to school in Buffalo. So my mother drove me back and forth for a half a year to Buffalo every day for school. So nobody knew me here. So when I came up here and got registered for school, the counselor said, hey, they playing ball in the mornings. Why don't you come up here and see? I said, okay. So I came in and I played ball, and I was playing ball and just acting fun. Foyle came up to me, grabbed me. Who are you? I said, I'm Alan Copeland. I'm coming to school here. And he said, well, you going to play football? I said, yeah. He said, well, it starts in a week or two. That was JV football. I didn't know anything about football. The most I knew about football at that time, I lived in Buffalo, and I lived in real close to the old Buffalo Bills Stadium and did that. So that's how I met Foyle, man, I get so many memories of him. And I got so many football stories, but I gotta tell you about a couple of them. There is a play in football where both guards break off and go and pull, right? In practice, coaches are in the huddle with you, telling what you do. So you can't go to the other guard and say, we're going right or left. So I never forget that. They called the play, we went up, and we were practicing underneath the lights, and both guards came and we met right behind the quarterback. Almost killed us. And I can still see him say, they're going to kill each other. But in the game, we can say, they're going right or left. And we could go that way. The other things that I remember that was really great about it, I was voted by my teammates, basketball and football as captain. That was a major honor to me because I wasn't black in Lancaster, I was Asian. And that was really bright because if you walked up in the hallway in the morning and walked up to the kids, they might be telling jokes that was not especially good for me. And they looked at me one time and said, "Hey, you're not black, you're Asian." And that was me. So much to remember. I remember Johnson put me in the corner with a rope around my right hand and say, "Shoot this left hand shot until you get it right." I also remember that he told me every time I took the ball and took a pass and tried to do it back behind the pass, one time he says, "Hey, if you do that again, keep it going up." He was my homeroom teacher. The one thing that I remember about with him that really stuck in my head is when we practiced, the guard swung out and hit the small linebacker. And I come out, and I used to like that because coaches told you at the time, "You got trouble at home? Take it out on the field. Take it out on the field." Right? So I remember I would go in, and the smile still looked at me, because I come out, I go about, and I would just knock the heck out of him. And just cut. And I come back, he looked at me and said, "You like that, don't you?" And I just grinned. Man. My son, who I thank you for coming, the love of my life, Sharon. Herbie was my guy that I spent the night with in Buffalo. He was a very athletic basketball player, could dunk, so I always tried to do that and tried to think about it. In football, the Lancaster, did you get? We all know that, right? It's terrible to lose that game. That was a big honor. But I gotta tell you, one day, I passed a lot on to my Lancaster ability to my son. Because there's one thing that I really love in Lancaster football was standing behind the paper up on the field when you came out of the locker room and you picked your number and they introduced you and you flew out of the paper. But there was one thing that I never forgot. I did it to my son one day, but I did it the day before the game. We used to go up in the locker room and get ready after we come off the field, and we would get ready, we would warm up, we'd go back in the locker room. They would turn the lights off, completely turn the lights off. At first, that surprised me, but when we got to that, we had the lights off. And the coaches would go in the back, and they would go in their room, and we would sit out there. Then the door would open. Foyle would come out. And he said this basically every time. "Gentlemen, they love the game of football, but not tonight." And we would go out of the locker room fired up because there was no other place to be in the world than Friday night in Lancaster underneath the lights. Beautiful. I also remember Foyle told me quit wearing my ankle weights. I used to wear them in practice. To take them off, okay. The first person who told me I needed to shave was Coach Foyle. He was strong. And I didn't realize that I was the only black on the football and basketball team. Because these are my buddies. These are my friends. And see, I never played freshman football or basketball because when he saw me that day, he said, "Come to practice." I thought that was normal. And I thank the people that were in my class, Paul and his brother Peter, for some, the linebacker that played with me. I never forget Gary Chaker, Griffin. Griffin was the first person I see hit somebody so hard that they had to call the ambulance out for or the chair. And I never forget him because he hit him so hard and he's on the bench shaking. Later, by the way, I saw my son hit somebody the same way. He called him back, level. Man, there's so much to think about. When I heard that I had 4 minutes, I was like, oh no. because there's so much unbelievable stuff. Basketball. I remember when we played a game and we played during the school time. And they let the school out and the gym was packed and playing. That picture up there that you see, I didn't think about getting no honors. I went and took pictures because they told me, hey, you got an award, go get a picture. That picture with that football, I took that team picture for both papers. Because back then Buffalo had two papers. They had Buffalo Evening News in Western New York. And I had both honors, but they gave me the ball and they threw it to me. And they said, come on, let's take a picture. I thought everybody was doing that. So the surprise on Sunday paper when it came out and that big picture was on there, bigger than the team picture, I was shocked. I told my mom, I said, Mom, I got an honor. Nah, you ain't getting that much. I said, no, yeah. And I started getting more. And I didn't realize it because I just played ball. It was very important to me to play. Basketball was so important to me. Winning for Lancaster was so important. I started one game my senior year. We lost. The next day, Byron was in the office. I said, Byron, I'd like to start. I'd like to win more. I'd rather be 6-man and win than start every game. That's the only game I started my senior year. This is an honor